So when I was 8 years old, I started to read Laura Ingalls Wilder, Little House on the Prairie. I don't know if some of the older ones here are familiar with that, about pioneering. And the reason it appealed to me was because 2 years after I was born, my parents got divorced. And so I was back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, living with one and then the other. And at one point, I even lived with my father in a Native American teepee for a short period. He was at the University of Arizona. He was studying to be a journalist. He was kind of like a cowboy, very pioneer-oriented. But anyway, when I was 8, I was living with my mother. So these stories of Laura's, yeah, they were pioneers like my father, but because they always had a good outcome in the stories, there was just something very nurturing about the motion of the wagon train and how she described it, and the hard winters, and the fireplace, and then at night especially, the Pa, she called her father Pa, singing, playing fiddle around the campfire. They had 4 homes. They eventually settled down in South Dakota, and that was my dream, right? That was my big, big dream. Oh, eventually I'm going to settle down. So, Laura Ingalls Wilder, my heroine, right? I started to really wish for that life, like eventually I'm going to settle down. So I get married, and I think, oh, that's going to settle me down, but there's a divorce, and I did have a child, and I changed careers, and I went through a lot of things. And then when I was much older, by the way, I've moved, I'm 67 coming up, and I've moved 22 times in all my years. So that is the Laura kind of pioneer story. I've lived in different countries. I've had 3 careers. So finally, when I'm divorced and single, my son invites me to a party, a 4th of July party. Oh, I want you to meet someone. So I go and I meet this man who's a musician, and he takes me on stage. And I've always wanted to sing, and I've had a little bit of performing experience. So he's encouraging me, and he's playing his guitar, and he's really for me. He's really for me. And he's very soothing. He has a very deep voice. He's beautiful. He's sensitive. He gets me. And then I go having hors d'oeuvres and things at the party, and I find that he's following me around, like he wants to know if I'm okay. So actually, what happens is that we got married. And later, I find out that he was a direct descendant of Laura Ingalls Wilder. And I think, oh my God! Then, 3 years later, he gets cancer and he dies. So be careful what you wish for.